sun comes out to play. It wears the same bright orange dress our Swami wears today. It's the color of Sathya Sai, the color of love. He is love, He is love, He is everything, everywhere. We are love, and that is what creation is made up of. Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai Babaji. Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai Babaji. Oh Shirdi Sai, Sathya Sai, Prema Sai Babaji. Oh Sathya Sai, you and I. Sathya Sai Babaji. And every evening when the sun goes down in its same bright orange dress, I feel the touch of Sathya Sai, his love, his tenderness, as he enters the temple of my loving heart. He is love, He is love, He is everything, everywhere. We are love, and that is what creation is made up of. Oh, Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai Babaji. Oh Shirdi Sai, Sathya Sai, Prema Sai Babaji. Oh Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai, Sathya Sai Babaji. Oh Sathya Sai, you and I. Sathya Sai Babaji.
Sai Ram, have you read the Tapovanam? It is a holy book for daily recitation about the sacred life story of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. It is to be read as a spiritual exercise dedicated to the Lord. The continuous reading or listening of this book will take us back to the glorious life of Swami. When participating in this holy activity, while focusing on Swami, you will be able to develop your focus and concentration as well as notice an elevation of your inner being. It also brings about a pure heart and sends positive vibrations of peace and love to all mankind. Every event and incident here will take you closer to spiritual realization. The completion of this spiritual activity with devotion and dedication will earn you the grace of our beloved Bhagavan. So do not miss this opportunity. Save the date, Make the time and join us for this devotional reading coming to you soon. Sai Ram.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Om Shri Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters of the Sai family in Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and globally. Offering my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Welcome to our second Ladies Devotional offering organized by our Sai sisters and aunties from South Australia and Queensland. Let us begin by acknowledging the First Nations people of Australia upon whose land we meet today. We pay our respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. We also pay our respects to the traditional elders in New Zealand and Fiji and acknowledge their elders past, present, and emerging. As part of the 96-day sadhana program, we are all blessed to hear from our guest speaker, our loving sister, Rama Sampath from Mumbai this evening. Ms. Rama Sampath is a postgraduate in commerce and has done her diploma in integrated programming and systems management. Sister Rama was one of the 11 students selected from India to do her diploma in Sri Sathya Sai education from the Institute of Thailand and was fortunate to receive this diploma from the divine hands. She was also conferred with the Sri Sathya Sai Balvikas Award for Excellence in 2019. Sister is a faculty member of the Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation and the Institute of Sathya Sai Education, India, ever since its inception. Sister Rama is a Balvikas guru imparting non-formal value education for children for 30 years and is the current editor of the Sri Sathya Sai Balvikas magazine, India. Please join me in warmly and lovingly welcoming Sister Rama Sampath.
Sai Ram, my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan seated in all your hearts. The message that Bhagwan wanted me to share with you all today is love my uncertainty. And I'm doing this just a day before 20th October because today is 19th, the day of declaration. Let us see what Bhagwan actually said on 20th October. He said, I have my work and I am going. I have to listen to the call of my devotees. My devotees are calling me. Now, what is this my work that Bhagwan was speaking about? The work that he was speaking about is about you and me. Because Bhagwan later on has gone to say that my primary mission is to raise the consciousness of man to such an extent that he will neither rejoice nor mourn over anything. So there will be no victory or defeat, no joy or sorrow. And when man reaches this stage, he will be reaching this oneness with me. And when we reach this stage of oneness, we have actually completed our journey because Bhagwan will always be with us endlessly. This is the promise that he has made. But uncertainties are always connected with expectations and hope that we have in life. Is it wrong to have hope? Is it wrong to have expectations? Absolutely no. But what happens is whether we are able to maintain our balance in the event of things not going the way we wanted it to happen. Therein lies the test. That is why Bhagwan gives us a simple formula. He says, you be free from expectations. You be free from hopes. And you have to love my uncertainty because uncertainties are not my mistake. He says that. He says it is not my mistake, but it is my intent, my will. So this is what we need to respect when he says, trust in my wisdom. I can never be wrong. Is Bhagwan asking a lot from us? Absolutely no. All Bhagwan wants is unconditional love, unconditional faith, the way Draupadi had. Why do you think Krishna was actually there with them physically, the Pandavas? But that did not stop the ordeals they were subjected to. They have gone through the worst of times, but they were able to do this because of your surrender to Lord Krishna. In the same way, just being Sai devotees does not mean that it's going to be a smooth sailing for us all the time. On the contrary, we should be ever ready, eager to welcome any tests that come our way. Because unless we pass the test, we cannot go to the next class, and there's going to be no promotion, and we will not be elevated to the next level of consciousness. This oneness is not going to happen unless we are subject to these tests and examinations in life. This month, being the month of October, it brings back very fond memories in my life. In 1990, the month of October has always left beautiful feelings because took a group of Balvikas children, the pre-Sevadal children, as they used to be called, the senior children, from Mumbai or Bombay, as it was then called. We had taken these children to Puttaparthi. And Bhagwan showered immense love on this group. We were a group of 40 plus. And, it was those days before Sai Kulvan. And every day Bhagwan would come, not every day, every darshan, morning and evening, to find some excuse to interact with somebody in the group and give us beautiful darshan. We were so happy. And one Friday, Bhagwan surprised us with an interview. It was a Friday afternoon. We were called in for an interview. Like I told you, we were not prepared for this. And I do not know how so many of us fitted in, but all that I remember is I was left out with some few children, and Bhagwan had gone inside. The remaining people had gone. And after some time, Bhagwan came out. He probably arranged, I was told, it was my first interview. I was told that he had arranged people inside in the interview room, and he came out like a mother, loving mother, to fetch us. He said, Bangaru, go inside, he said very enthusiastically. And he led the way inside, and we just had to follow him. And the room was obviously looked crowded when Bhagwan walked, the way parted, and we just followed him. And as he went into his place on the chair, we also got to sit at his feet. And after that beautiful interview, at the end of the interview, he said, see, look here, I'm getting late for darshan. And he said, I have to go for darshan. But one thing I promise you, this has been a very short interview. I will call you again on Sunday morning. That will be a long interview, he promised us. So we were very excited, and we came out a very happy lot. And afterwards, we started planning. Now, if the interview is going to be on Sunday, so we thought we have to get ourselves ready in all possible ways. What will we do? This was an uncalled, unprepared interview. So we decided, what will we ask him, or what letters do we write to him? All these things were going on in our group. Now, Saturday morning, the next morning, that is Friday evening, we got the interview, and Saturday morning, he again walked to our group. That day, I was seated in the front along with a very senior guru, Bapsi Tata. And Bhagwan looked at us and said, I have told you now, tomorrow I will be calling you tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, for an interview. That interview is cancelled. Said interview cancelled. And you could hear the sigh of disappointment from all the children. And he went on to explain why. He said, tomorrow some ministers are coming, so your interview is cancelled. And so we were quite upset, I should say. But when we went back to the shed, okay, there was a discussion. We had decided to give him a lovely thank you card. Children were to draw things or write letters. And we also wanted to take a robe, Bhagwan's robe, to be blessed by him, which we can keep. So now there was a discussion as to, since Bhagwan he has said himself there is no interview, why should we carry all this paraphernalia to darshan the next day? We should not be doing it. But a few of us said, no, we should be always prepared for Bhagwan. We cannot be caught napping by the law. So let us go with all this. So we decided, a consensus was arrived, and we just pretended as though nothing has happened, as though interview wasn't cancelled. And we went in with all our finery the next morning, the Sunday morning, for darshan. And we were very sure that, like every morning, he used to come to us to speak to us, and he's going to come. And you know what he did on that Sunday morning? It's okay that he did not call us for an interview, fine. But he refused to look at us. He totally ignored our group and looked the other way, the way he does sometimes. But we still thought maybe he's going to go to the boys' group and call them, but he did not. He avoided the boys' group as well. He avoided our group in toto. And what we observed was he was picking up letters from the devotees, but he did not call anybody for an interview. So we said, yes, he was right, maybe because ministers are coming. Then Swami went into the portico, the veranda, and he stood there for some time. We felt him looking in our direction. So we were all looking at him, And suddenly he raised his hand and he beckoned us from there. And we all got up, like so excited, forming a line. And Mrs. Hejimadi, who was actually in charge of the interviews groups, she came and she reprimanded us. She said, very indisciplined group. Swami had just told you yesterday, no interview, no interview, sit down now. So we again sat down very quietly, and we were very sure Bhagwan had called us. But then Bhagwan stood there, and after some time he sent for Mrs. Hejmari. And then Mrs. Hejmari came to tell us, Bhagwan is calling you for an interview. Oh my God, you should have seen the excitement. And we were called in for this interview. And the way he promised, it was a very long interview, and in which Bhagwan not only guided us in so many different things, but he also addressed our personal issues. He told us so many things about our personal life. Now, why did I tell you this? I told you this just to say how Bhagwan was actually preparing us for uncertainty and prepares us for bigger uncertainties in life. And Bhagwan, in fact, says that our faith and love to be unconditional. Why? Because we know only our present, while Bhagwan knows our present, our past, and our future. We apparently think we know our present, but Bhagwan knows our past, present, and future. And whatever plans that are being worked out by the Lord will always be perfect. It is a master plan being unrolled. Whenever we think we have not got things to what we expected, we should have this faith that Bhagwan is working on his master plan, and God's plans are always perfect. And remember one thing, God's clock is never too slow. Everything comes in its own true time. But we need to have patience, and we need to have this balance or equanimity. In fact, Bhagwan says, how can you call yourself a devotee? If you want to call yourself a devotee, like, you have to be balanced. You should have equipoise, equanimity. Whatever sorrows come, whatever joys come in your life, you have to maintain your balance. You need to go on smoothly without any issues. But are we able to do this? Because we get carried away by our emotions. Come what may, it is so easy to say this, but it's very, very difficult to practice. But our Lord, who has got infinite love and compassion, has always guided us in everything. And he has given a very beautiful formula as to how we can maintain this balance in life. He's given an analogy of a car. You know what? The cars that we drive in India are mostly manual. We have manual gears, right? Now, maybe it's something unheard of there, where everybody has switched to automatic gears. Now, manual gears, we have, say, 5 gears. So Bhagwan says that 5 gears, there's nothing wrong when you're in the first gear or second gear or third gear. But Bhagwan says when you shift from the first to the second or the second to the third, the transition from one gear to another is the problem. In other words, we have to take the support of the clutch. We do not want the gears to be spoiled. So he says this pressing the clutch is like pressing the button of surrender or Sharanagati. And all the gears are like happiness, sorrow, victory, defeat. These are these opposites in life. And if we have to make this transmission smooth, you might wonder, a transmission from a happiness to sorrow, I know it's very difficult, very frustrating, very disappointing. We are angry. We have this one-liner always, Bhagwan, why is this happening to me? We ask. But we never ask this to Bhagwan when we are singled out for grace, isn't it? So now, when we keep asking Bhagwan why this has happened to me, what is going to help us to make this transition from happiness to disappointment or sorrow that we call? He says, press the button of surrender. And here, surrender is what Bhagavan says. It is very simple. You have to tell yourself, all that has happened is good for me. Whatever God has let happen is the perfect plan for me. It is absolutely good for me. You have to have this faith and tell it. When you tell this, you will be able to make this transition from happiness to sorrow very smooth. Now, let us see the other opposite, from smoothness to happiness. You might wonder, what is the problem when when you are sad and something happens that makes you very happy? Supposed to be a very easy transition. What is the problem? After all, you're going to be happy. But there is a problem. Bhagavan says that when you get excited, happy, what happens is you're not able to take that much amount of happiness or the success that has come your way. What happens? Your ego or your ahankar comes in the way. You feel now that whatever has happened is because, oh my, it is the entire bhajan is a hit. Bhajan session is a hit today because I sang those two beautiful bhajans and I actually started the bhajan sessions today. So that is why it is a hit. So now what happens? The ego comes into play. Swami says that is very, very dangerous. And that is the danger of shifting from sorrow to happiness. And Bhagavan says, for an ideal situation, what we need to do is to give up the doership. This is what Krishna told Arjun in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He said, Arjun, you don't worry that you are the one who is slaughtering your cousins or your brothers. You do your duty, but give this doership to me. We have to give this doership to him, and we have to remain the perfect witness. When we do this, Bhagavan says, when we are able to actually give this act of worship to the Lord, he says, your karma is being worked out, you won't even realize. And Swami says, in some rare circumstances, you might even actually evade that karmic act that you have to go through because you have given him the act of worship. But in the other case, what happens when we do not give this doership to him? We want to be the doer. Then he says, be prepared for the consequences of your actions. When we want to be the doer, ahankar, I, it is me, it is I who am doing it, then in that case, God relegates himself to the background and he remains a perfect witness. He's just there as a witness. But the wise thing for us would be to give the doership to him and us remaining a witness. So Bhagavan says, when we are able to make this transition from opposites, when we are able to do it smoothly, then we become a full-time devotee because we have actually mastered the art of balancing life. And this balance is absolutely important in every sphere, whatever role we play, whether at home or at work or in the world, or even when we are doing seva. So it is like, we get carried away when we are chosen for something, and we get absolutely dejected when we are deprived. Now, we should never ever think that somebody has deprived us of a chance. Who is somebody? Why are we giving control to somebody? Like Swami says, nothing happens without my will. Everything that happens is my intent and my will. And there was this program we had when Bhagavan once came to Dharmakshetra. Okay, in Satyadip we have Sathya, the residence of Bhagavan atop this beautiful hillock, and it's so beautiful. And that night there was to be a Balvikas program. We had been working on it. It was on Navveda Bhakti, the 9 types of devotion. And many of my children were participating in this program. And we have been practicing this regularly. But like everybody cannot be part of all the programs. There are limited people who are taken in, and everybody gets their chance fairly according to the will of God. So actually, the other, I was not to be part of this program, but like I'm blessed to be joining this Sathya, and that's another big story as to how am actually born where Sundaram is. Born in Chennai, and Sundaram temple used to be just at the end of the street there. And I was so heartbroken when we had to shift to Mumbai. After a few years, Bhagwan, out of his infinite compassion, love my uncertainty. I used to keep asking, why have I been shifted away from Sundaram? Why have I lost the opportunity to go there for darshan? Bhagwan chose to give me a residence near Sathya. So he saw to it that my journey from Sundaram to Satyam, we have the three temples in India: Satyam in Bombay, Sundaram in Chennai, and Shivam in Hyderabad. So I made this journey from Sundaram to Satyam thanks to Bhagwan. And let me come back to this program. So this program was to take place in Satyadi, and I was not to be part of the program, but nevertheless, it gave me ample joy to be there for the practices. And even that evening, I helped in dressing up the children. But you know how children are. The children from my class kept asking me, Auntie, but you will not be there up to see us. You're not going to be there. I said, no, I will see you all later. Okay, we are going to get a video and we will definitely see you later. So you do your portion and you enjoy the darshan of Bhagwan. So I was down there. The prayer hall down there is called Shantidi. We had and all the children and the participants and everybody had gone up. This was to be a very private program there in the lawns of Satyadi, and only Bhagwan and his guests were allowed. It was not open for the public. And so I was in the prayer hall and I was very, very sleepy actually. Bhagwan had actually gone out for dinner to a devotee's house, and he was to come back around 9:30 or something in the night, and the program was in the night. And so I was just hoping that when Bhagwan would come in the car, I would catch a glimpse of him as he went up the slope to the program. And I was just, I had almost fallen asleep because I was too tired. And then I heard the voice of my mother call me. So she said, Rama, what are you doing here? I said, no, I'm just waiting here because I'm not allowed to go up. So I have to wait here and collect the costumes of the children when they come back. So she told me, no, come up. I said, no, I'm not supposed to be going up. I'm telling you. She said, you don't understand. The guests of Bhagwan have been called up, and Daddy, Appa has got an invitation for our family to go up. And actually, my Appa used to sit in the bookstall of Dharmakshetra, used to do his seva. And that is how the staff of Dharmakshetra were called up, I believe. I was not aware. So she came and fetched me, and there I was. At the moment I went and sat, Bhagwan's car came up. So the timing was also perfect. Swami saw to it that I did not miss this beautiful darshan. But what lesson did I learn from this? It was absolutely wonderful to know that I was not actually dejected when I couldn't go up. But Bhagwan actually rewarded this with this pleasant surprise by, calling me up for this beautiful program. So that is how Bhagwan is. And that is why we need to have this unconditional love and surrender that helps us to be maintain our equipoise in all circumstances. But if you ask me what actually helps us in maintaining this equipoise, it is the very sadhana that we do that is going to help us in maintaining this equipoise, or maintaining or helping us to surrender and having this unconditional love or faith. Where do you think Draupadi got her faith from? Did it happen? Something? She used to be constantly, sarvada, sarva kaleshu, sarvatra. at all times, at all places, and everywhere, she would chant Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. In fact, Krishna would tell his queens, once told his queens, who always thought, why is Draupadi so special to Krishna? Krishna told his queens to comb the hair of Draupadi. She had very lovely long hair. And when the queens were combing the hair of Draupadi, what did they hear? Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. It was this constant chanting of Krishna that helped her to achieve this surrender, to achieve this balance, come what may. And Mother Kunti, we need to be like Mother Kunti, who welcomed every difficulty with this. Krishna, let more difficulties come my way, more uncertainties come my way, because only then will I remember you. It is only then that I will look up to you. Look at her faith. Look at her surrender to Bhagavan. No wonder they were so special to Krishna. And Namasmaran is one of the things. And the second thing is we all do our silent sitting or meditation. But have we ever done this, ever thinking that this silent sitting or meditation is one of the most useful techniques to strengthen the power of discrimination? And this is the power of discrimination which actually sets us apart from other beings according to the law. But we have to sharpen this power of discrimination. And this happens right from Balvikas to take little decisions in life. Should I be eating an ice cream or no? Should I go to Balvikas or no? So this helps us to take greater decisions in life as we evolve. And why is this important in the context of this uncertainty? What happens is we are always given a freedom of choice. And we should, when we are, the best thing is to surrender and give the doership to God. But if ever we are exercising a choice, we need to be doubly sure that we are doing the right thing, that we are being actually guided by the divine blessing. Lakshmana was known for his surrender. Bhagavan always quotes this incident. He says once, when they were in the forest of Chitrakoot, when Ram, Sita and Lakshman had reached Chitrakoot, it was so beautiful. Ram told Lakshmana, let us stay here for a few years. Okay, why don't you set up a cottage? Why don't you look out for a nice spot and set up a cottage here so that we get to spend some years here in the sylvan setting? The moment Ram said it, Lakshmana was in deep anguish. Just put his head down. And Sita was very surprised. Sita asked him, what happened? What did he tell you? So Lakshmana said, all these years, have I ever exercised my freedom of choice? I have implicitly followed the command of my Lord Ram. I have left my mother behind. I have left my wife behind in order to serve you and my Lord Ram. So now, how do I have the choice to decide where I should set up a cottage? Immediately, Ram understood his emotions and he himself pointed out where the cottage has to be set up. This was the height of surrender of Lakshmana. One more thing that is very important for us, if we need to love the uncertainties, is positive thinking. You must be wondering, why positive thinking? Positive thinking, or looking at the positive aspect in any adversity that may come our way. Like it happened in 2016, we were to present a play for Ashadi Ekadashi, the month of July. Bombay was given a chance to present there. We have presented numerous plays out of Bhagavan's infinite compassion every July there. And this time, 2016, my father, he's no longer with us, he's a heart patient, he was. And I was just wondering, I asked the doctors told me, no, he's fine, you can go ahead. There's nothing wrong with him now. So I went ahead because one of my students was actually talking and she wanted me to be there. So I went to Puttaparthi, and the next morning was the program, right? And I was, that evening when I made a call to my father, I was not very happy with his voice. He said, he told me he's fine. I didn't think so. Something told me he was not okay. So immediately I decided, and without telling anybody, I approached the agent and I told him, please book me that flight that night. I want to go back to Mumbai. I want to be with my father. So there were people who told me, no, it's just a matter of one morning. The next morning is the program. What can happen? Don't go. Just you can go immediately after the program. I said, no, I want to go. And I left. And the moment I reached home, I realized my father was not too well, I felt. And so I admitted him in the hospital. The moment I admitted him, he was taken into ICU immediately. And you know what? He suffered a heart attack. And just because the doctors, and he survived this, the doctor said just because he was admitted in time, he had his heart attack when he was already in the ICU, he could survive. So this was his uncertainty for me that, you know, I was, if you ask me, I was not dejected that I'm missing the program. And I did wonder why Swami made me come. Yes. And then I realized Swami made me come and take darshan so that I have the strength to actually go through the situation. He had showered me with grace so that I could go through this and I could be with my father. That is how uncertainties are. And this is the positive thing that came out of this experience. And how I was actually introduced into this positive thinking is another beautiful experience. I happened to be in Puttaparthi, and when I landed in Puttaparthi, I happened to meet my friend. It was not a planned journey. Her name is Jyoti. She's a very good classical singer by the name of Kanakavalli. You'll find her on Facebook. She was already there. She was reading a book, The Power of Positive Thinking. So I asked her, Jo, but does this really work? She said, of course, man, it works, you know, with positive thinking. Even people who have been in concentration camps have escaped with this power of positive thinking. Oh, I said, really? But Jo, I want an affirmation from Bhagwan, like how we want an affirmation for everything. So she said, yes. So what do we do? So I said, we'll keep praying, Bhagwan, out of your infinite love and compassion. You know, we were just 2 days away from 1st January. We said, on 1st January, we should get line number 1 and we should have beautiful darshan of Bhagwan. See, doesn't matter whether you get line number 1 or 40 to have darshan of Bhagwan, because you can have beautiful darshan from anywhere and the Lord's grace reaches you. But we were those excited girls then. And then, so we were praying. But what happened on 1st January morning was a total disaster for us. You know, our alarm failed us and we were late, we woke up late. And when we rushed, at those days, there was a token system. You know, in order to be eligible to go inside, lines were formed and tokens were taken out. If you get line number 3, token number 3, you go in third. And it so happened that we did not even reach in time to be eligible for the token lines. We were pushed into something called the late line. Okay, there we sat. I told my friend, Jo, what's happening? She told me, no, let's pray. So we continued to pray. Tell Bhagwan, don't give up. So we continue to pray. No, this is Bhagwan, out of your infinite grace, we are going to have line number 1. You know, I was just telling it very half-heartedly. My heart was beating because we were there in the late line. We had no chance even to get a token. Suddenly, the ladies there were taking out tokens, you know, the permanent volunteers. It was a hush-hush meeting. There were over 40 rows. Imagine 1st January, all the crowd there. And we hardly stood a chance, according to me. But then suddenly the aunties decided that they could accommodate one more line for tokens, because when they counted the tokens and they found they had one extra token and the lines were less. So our late line was pushed into the token line. Imagine we got this promotion. Even then we were the last line there. and our turn to pick up the token. Who was in the front would be last. So 40 lines would, we were the 40th line, say. So 39 rows would pick up the tokens from the gunny bag, and whatever was left for us would be our token number. But we were still happy that we were getting a chance to go inside. See, from line number 1, now we were happy, we were thankful, we were showing our gratitude, instead of grumbling and complaining, we were happy. So when this was happening and the tokens were being taken out, you know how it is, who takes in number 2 or 3, like, and then the row, they are all very excited, but we were too busy praying, we didn't see what was happening. And you know what happened? When all the tokens were given, and obviously the last token was left for our line, and when she picked up whoever was there, it was line number 1. Imagine this miracle token number 1 had evaded 39 rows just for us. Just for us, because Bhagavan wanted us to believe. We have to look at everything positive in any adverse situation, and we have to be grateful for little mercies that come our way. Because it's only when we express our gratitude do we invoke more and more of this. So this is a very small incident that I shared with you to show that how Bhagavan actually prepares you for bigger things in life. And believe me, if at all we stick to our sadhana, is very important. It is our personal sadhana. Whether we want to be equipoised in life or whether we want to surrender, what is going to help us is our personal sadhana. We should never fail on that ground. And as far as our service activities are concerned, we never go to any service activity to mark our presence there. Is it for somebody to notice that I was present there for Narayan Seva or I was present there for Nagar Sangeet? No. I go there to feel his presence and not to mark my presence. And we need to intensify our personal sadhana so much that we are blessed with whatever Bhagavan wants us to be. And let us be those worthy instruments in his hands. And that is all we should strive to be. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, everyone. On behalf of all the Sai devotees from Australia, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Sister Rama for taking time off her hectic schedule to spend this evening with us. We are indeed grateful to you, Sister, and to our beloved Swami for this lovely experience. Before we tune into our bhajan session, we would like to welcome Auntie Radha and Sister Lorraine from South Australia to share their feedback about the 96th day of sadhana, which we all have been practicing leading up to the 96th advent of our beloved Bhagavan. Thank you and Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. I am Radha from Adelaide. When I was watching this program, it makes me, I'm by myself in the house first. So it's really interesting that I can see Swami and people talking, all the experience from them, and it makes me closer to Swami. It's like my family around me. It makes me so happy, stay in the house by myself and with Swami and with my Sai family. I have bhajans every day. It feels like I am having bhajan every day. I am writing 108 times Swami's name, and it makes me very close to Swami. Om Sri Sai Ram, I write here. 108 times I write here. So I'm walking in the garden. It's really very happy. It gives, to look at the flowers and everything. It's make me, Swami is there and there are all the flowers. And it gives me satisfaction in there. Program is very good, and all the experience I can hear them talking about Swami, and feels like I am there with them in that program. And it makes me joy, gives me a lot of joy there. and I share with this program, and I tell other people too what Swami is like, and you should see this, you should watch this. I give it to them and put it in the messenger to them to listen to this. Thank you so much, Sai Ram.
Sai, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to thank everyone involved in putting together the videos that we're privileged to see of Swami and Darshan, Arjans, and the people who share their stories and experiences. They do so lovingly and with such enthusiasm. The theme of the 96 days of spiritual practice is seeing God in all, and that's a huge challenge. Not when you see the people who share their stories, but out in our neighbourhoods and work and just in life, you often come across people that hide their divinity well. So it's a very challenging subject to see God in all. So I think we really do need lots of opportunities to plug into divinity in such a loving way is shared by the devotees who speak on the videos. Sai Ram, thank you.
गजवदना गिरिजानन्दन निरञ्जना गजानना 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 गजवदना एकदन्ता गजानना हे रम्बा गजवदना एकदन्ता गजानना हे रम्बा गजवदना गजानना 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 गजवदना ईश्वरी नंदन साई गोपाला ईश्वरी नंदन साई गोपाला हे जगन्मोहन कृष्णा कृष्णा साई मधुसूदन कृष्णा कृष्णा जगदोद्धारा बलिविहारा जगदोद्धारा बलिविहारा प्रेम स्वरूपा प्रेमावतारा प्रेम स्वरूपा प्रेमावतारा द्वारकमाई श्री सत्य साई द्वारकमाई श्री सत्य साई हे जगन्मोहन कृष्णा कृष्णा साई मधुसूदन कृष्णा कृष्णा ईश्वरी नंदन साई गोपाला हे जगन्मोहन कृष्णा कृष्णा जगदोद्धारा बलिविहारा Krishna Krishna Sai Madhusudan Krishna Krishna Ishwari Nandana Sai Gopala Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Sadguru Sai Ram Nam Bhajo Sadguru Sai Ram Nam Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram 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 Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Allah Malik 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 Sai Ram Bhajo Buddha Mahavir 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 Sai Ram Bhajo Ishu Pita Prabhu 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 Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram 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 Bhajo Sadguru Sai Ram Nam Bhajo Sadguru Sai Ram Nam Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram Bhajo Allah Malik Sai Ram Bhajo Allah Malik Sai Ram Bhajo Buddha Mahavir Sai Ram Bhajo Buddha Mahavir Sai Ram Bhajo Ishu Pita Prabhu Sai Ram Bhajo Ishu Pita Prabhu Sai Ram Bhajo Sai Ram Sai Ram 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 Sai Ram Bhajo Jaya ho Natara Jaya ho Natara Jaya ho Natara Gangadhara Shambho He Natara Gangadhara Shambho पाण्डुरङ्ग विठला जय पाण्डुरङ्ग विठला
जय पाण्डुरङ्ग
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
Sai Ram, have you read the Tapovanam? It is a holy book for daily recitation about the sacred life story of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. It is to be read as a spiritual exercise dedicated to the Lord. The continuous reading or listening of this book will take us back to the glorious life of Swami. When participating in this holy activity, while focusing on Swami, you will be able to develop your focus and concentration as well as notice an elevation of your inner being. It also brings about a pure heart and sends positive vibrations of peace and love to all mankind. Every event and incident here will take you closer to spiritual realization. The completion of this spiritual activity with devotion and dedication will earn you the grace of our beloved Bhagavan. So do not miss this opportunity. Save the date, make the time, and join us for this devotional reading coming to you soon. Sai Ram.
Sairam all. Just a reminder, we are now live on YouTube and Facebook. You can search on YouTube for Sai Organisation of Australia. Please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to receive updates and reminders of our upcoming inspirational programs. On Facebook, please search for Sai Organisation of Australia and like and follow our account. Please visit our website on sai.org.au to keep updated with upcoming programs in the 96 Days devotional offerings, news of our service activities, and inspirational updates.